Okay, we are back for another video. If you have not watched my videos before, my name is Rihanna and my channel is Vinture Soul Creates, depending on what platform you're following me on. Today I am going to take my very first attempt at hand carding some wool. I don't really know what I'm doing. I have literally never done this before, so bear with me. This is an adventure for us all. So this is some wool here. It's merino that I bought at Lambtown in Dixon in California a few weeks ago. And I brought it home and I scoured it and I dyed it. And yeah, now I'm gonna card it and eventually spin it. I'm gonna blend it with some other wool that I have on my blending board, and then I'm going to blend it into Rolags, and then I'm gonna spin it. So without further ado, let's get started. So these are some hand carders that I got from somebody in a spinning group that I'm in. I think I do it this way. Somebody that in a spinning group that I'm in who didn't need them anymore and offered them to me. I'm not totally sure what to expect here. I know I'm supposed to just put like small amounts on here and then basically comb it until it's all going in one direction and it's light and fluffy. I've watched a lot of videos of other people doing this, and yeah, this still has a lot of like vegetable matter in it and stuff. But I've watched a lot of videos of other people doing this, but I mean, it's one of those things that you never really know what it's going to be like until you try it. So hopefully this will go well. Some of the staple length on some of this wool is a little shorter than I thought. Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of see what happens here. Well, I guess like merino isn't the longest thing out there. I don't know. I don't really know that much about anything. So here I go. Oh. I think this is working. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I might want to like release a video of just like this so that I can ask people if I'm doing this right or not. I mean, it looks like it's getting fluffy and it's starting to go in a single direction, which is what I want, so I guess I just take this off and then try it again, do another pass. On the upside, my wool is definitely not felted at all. interesting, like I was applying so much force in the first pass and it was making it really, really hard. And now I'm just barely touching the combs together, or the carders I mean. And it's just, it's super easy. Well, it's not super easy. You have to have some amount of arm strength to do this. But it's, see like this, they're like locking together and it's difficult. But if I pull it out and I just do, you know, gentle, just barely touching it kind of passes, suddenly it gets to be a lot less work. A lot more intuitive. Let me see if I can do it the other way. There's a big clump there. I want to try to comb out a nip, if you will. Well, I don't mind if this has like little neps in it when it comes to the actual spinning of the yarn. I think that that would, you know, be pretty. So I'm not really worried about that. I hope this is in frame. I can't see what my camera is doing. I'm gonna just set these here like this and check real quick. Yeah, that's in frame. Okay. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to switch them again. One of these is labeled for right and left hand, and the person who gave them to me said that you'll find that it works better doing like one hand, keeping one in one hand and one in the other. And I see what she means. I switched just because I was having trouble getting to a certain bit that was in my right-handed carder. I picked up some fabric from my table. My craft room kind of has a craft explosion thing going on. I did try to clean it up a little bit before filming this video, but I just don't have storage space for all of my stuff, so it's one of those things. Yeah, and I could see how I could just blend this on the blending board without carding it, but I can see how carding it is gonna make things a lot easier. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off. I'm going to do the rest of this off camera. I've got this big, I mean it didn't look like that much until I started carding it, and that little amount that I did just turned into all that. So I'm going to turn the camera off and keep working at this and probably take a lot of breaks, and I'll be back with updates and to blend. Okay, so I have carded almost all of my fluff here. Sorry, I'm just adjusting the color temperature. I've carded almost all of my seafoam fluff. I'll just go back to that one. Yeah, that one's good. Okay. I've got one more little bundle to do here. And then I'm going to move on to Desert Green. So I just wanted to check in and kind of show you guys what I've learned here. So I don't know if you can see, I'll get this out of the way. I don't know if you can really see on the camera. Hopefully you can, but this is still very much in its like locks. Like you can see the crimp, and when I start to pull this apart a little, you can like, of course now I'm struggling with it, you can see like you can pull out basically like a whole lock here. So what I learned is I can pull out these locks and basically just stretch them across the comb. And I'm leaving the little neps and stuff in because I think those are actually really cute, and I don't mind them being in my finished product. I don't think they're going to cause a problem anyways. I know people add neps into their projects. To show you because like I started doing it this way and I realized that I was basically working way too hard at this at first, and it doesn't need to be that difficult. Just like, you know, story of my life. Oftentimes when you just sort of like attack projects like that the way that I do, you find about halfway through that you were doing it the hard way the whole time and you just didn't know. So here we go. So here's what, get this out of the way, more space. Okay, so here's what I've been doing. Just taking this and combing it very lightly to pick up fluff from one card to the other. And then coming back to the back. Oop, got caught a little bit. And then I'm turning it over and I'm doing the same on the other side. I'm not switching hands on the carders because, like the person who gifted these to me told me, one of them seems to fit a lot better in one hand and the other seems to fit a lot better in the other hand. So there's no need to actually switch hands. I gotta be careful with my table here. I'm gonna spill my tea. Don't want that. And so yeah, and then I'm basically just leaving it like this. Like, is it perfect? No. It's not even fully like, you know, combed out. You can see here, you can still see a lot of the crimp and a lot of the individual locks, but I actually like that, and I think that that's gonna not be a bad thing. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never done this before, but I was looking at my fluff before I was carding it, and I was thinking, you know, I don't, like, I would like to just leave it as it is, but I know it's too much of a mess to just go blending it without, you know, ordering it at all. It needs to be ordered in some way before it's blended. But I like these little bits here. I think that's going to be nice when it comes time to blend and spin. And my blending is going to be pretty minimal. I basically just have some roving that matches the same colorway here, and I'm going to break it. I dyed it in a braid in a gutter, and heat set it in the sun when it was still like 100 degrees every day out here. Wrapped it in plastic wrap and just left it in the sun for several days, and it was kind of like my It was kind of like my preview for this colorway to see how it was going to look and if it was going to be the colors that I wanted it to be for the person that this is for. And it came out perfect. I think I actually made a video on that too. I don't remember if I did. If I did, I think it's probably on the camera, and then I sort of abandoned it because I couldn't find my pictures on this camera, or my videos on this camera for a minute, and I was like scared that I did something wrong or that there was something wrong with my SD card or the camera itself. And anyways, my husband is much more tech savvy than I and was able to locate my videos, luckily. Anyways, so when it comes time to blend it, I'll be blending each section with the gutter solar dyed versions of the same colors. I'm going to pull the roving apart and section it out to blend it with each of its colors. And I'm really excited about that because when you do something like that with dry dye powder right on the roving and then you basically allow it to steam set like that one was, you get a lot more like color breaking, so there's a lot more variation in color. I think it's going to end up looking really interesting in the finished product. So anyways, I'm going to get started on this desert green. So I'll show you guys how I'm doing it. Now this one is not quite as already ordered as the seafoam was. The seafoam required a lot less vigorous cooking. This one had to be cooked fairly vigorously to get the color to set because it was so much darker of a color and I didn't have enough heat from the sun. The lighter colors like the seafoam and the little boy blue, those set really easily just with the sun because they are light colors. There wasn't a whole lot of pigment to absorb, so I basically just, with those ones, the water was already clear. I just put them in the pot long enough to make sure that the color was set. Which was like hardly at all, really, because they sat in the sun for like a week. So I was like, well, I don't think that these need a ton of time in the pot when they've been sitting in the sun for a week and there's no color left in the water. And yeah, so that's that. That went really well. There's the fluff. There's the raw dyed fiber. Like I said, that was actually surprisingly and shockingly easier than the seafoam, even though the seafoam looked like it was in better condition than this. This actually carded much easier for whatever reason. Maybe because it's not in as great of condition. I really don't know. But anyways, I'm going to stop the video now and I'm just going to get through this. And probably only going to come back to this part if there's another thing that I realize that's like an, I should have been doing something this way kind of thing. In which case I'll come back and talk about that. Otherwise, you will see me back for the blending of all this fiber. It's probably going to take me a while. I'm probably going to do some other crafts in between, do some other videos in between, because I've got a lot of stuff to do and this is taking forever. Not complaining, enjoying myself, but it's a lot. Okay, so toodaloo for now. I'll be back. Well, here is an update on the fluff that I've been carding. I have 4 out of the 6 bags. 4 out of the 6 bags here completed. Got 2 more to go, and I will give an update when they're completely done. Just wanted to spotlight though, this one, the Moonstone, has so many varied colors in it. It is so pretty. There's a part of me that feels like it's gonna be a shame to even blend that with anything because it's already so pretty. But I know the whole thing is gonna end up being gorgeous as well. So I will be back on an update with the finished fiber, and this video is ending up so long at this point that the blending is gonna happen in another video. Alright, toodaloo! Alright, so I'm on my last bag of fluff here, and I just wanted to show you guys what I'm sort of doing. So I've got my last bag of fluff here. This is what I've been doing with the bags that had some color breaking in the dye. So I've got my different colors kind of laid out, like deeper purple, medium purple, into like a pinky purple, and then into this pink. And so I've been taking a little bit of each one. Like this one I'm using the kind of medium purple, and I start pulling it out on the combs like I was in the other videos, but in the other clips from this video. But with some of the other ones that I showed you, I didn't have as much color variation going on. Like I think the other ones that I filmed were the seafoam and the desert green, and there is a little bit of color variation in those, but not nearly as much as in the Moonstone and the Violet's Breath and the Orchid. Those ones have a lot of color differentiation, or a lot of varied color to them. Like the Violet's Breath goes everywhere from like a deep blue to like almost a bright pink. And then so these little bits that I have, like every now and then in wool like this, you'll get like little bits that are shorter than the rest, and I'm just kind of like shoving them in here. They're just gonna kind of act the same way as nibs, I think, when I go to spin this. It's my hope anyways, that's my plan. And so I just wanted to show you guys how I'm carding this now that I've gotten to the last bag. My technique has definitely improved. I'm not struggling nearly as much. I'm able to go a lot faster, and still keep the wool here pretty like ordered, because that was one of the things I didn't want to do when I first started out, was just sort of drag it through and lose some of this like crimp that I have going on. And some of the bits that I have carded in the bag, they don't look like they have a ton of crimp, but I tried to preserve it as much as I could, and I think like it's still gonna spin really, really nicely. Again, that's my hope. I've never actually spun wool like this. I've always used roving and spun top, so I don't know exactly what I'm gonna get here, but just based on what I've seen other people do, I think that this should work out really nicely. Okay, so I got that with this like medium purple, and then I'm gonna take some of this really deep purple from down here, which this has Actually, I'm not gonna, yeah, no, I will. This has a lot of vegetable matter in it, this particular piece. It's interesting, most of this wool was really, really clean. Then there are some places where it's just so full of VM. I'm guessing that's probably like the underside of the sheep. And the locks are a little shorter and crimpier in those areas, and for whatever reason, those areas of the fleece took the dye the best. I mean, it's super dark and deep in those areas, especially in these purpley colors that I have. It was the same with the Violet's Breath. But I'm not going to worry too much about the vegetable matter because I'm still going to blend these into rollags. And I noticed when I started doing rollags for my other project that I'm working on, that I'm not using my hand scoured fleece for, that I'm using one that I bought that was pre-washed and combed, and that still had a lot of vegetable matter in it too, almost as much as this does really, and a lot of it came out when I blended it. So I'm figuring that whatever vegetable matter is left in this is not really much of a problem, because when I go to blend it, it's gonna come out. I don't know why it seems to be coming out better in the blending process than the carding process, because I was under the impression that carding was really where that was gonna come out. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of this pinker fluff here. And yeah, doing it this way, kind of layering up the color families, I'm getting some really nice varied colors, like you'll see in here. And I think that's going to be really nice when I blend it and spin it. It's going to have a lot of variation all the way through. It's not going to be like a clump of pink here and a clump of deep blue or deep purple here. It's going to be not homogeneous. I don't want it to be homogeneous, but it's going to be a lot more even in color dispersal, I should say. Okay, and then so I'm just kind of gently for carding anyways, because this whole process is like not really very gentle, but just sort of gently combing it. And then you see I've got a bunch on this side now, so I'm gonna sort of transfer some over by like pressing down and letting it grab, and then combing that out really nicely. Come over here, oops, and try to comb this out as much as possible as well, so that's all nice and straight and going in the same direction. This one's a little messier, but I think it's fine. And then you can very easily just, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. You can very easily just kind of pull it off. Okay, and yeah, you can see a lot of VM came out. Just with the carding, but I'm expecting even more to come out when I blend it, because like I was saying, I blended some combed wool that I scoured and combed wool that I already had, and then also some, you know, commercial roving, and I was really shocked at how much vegetable matter was coming out of that, because I was kind of under the impression that that was going to be much cleaner, and it's really not any cleaner than what I have here, so I thought that was really interesting, and also kind of showed me that I didn't do as bad of a job as I thought, which is cool. Yeah, so okay, that's gonna be it for this little segment. I will check back in when I have most of this done, and that'll be the sign off of the video. All right, toodaloo. Right, I'm down to 2 cards left of my fluff here, so I'm just gonna do these 2 on camera, and then we can kind of review all of the extra fluff. My camera battery might die, but I do have a charged one waiting. So if you see a kind of like break in the video, it'll be that. Still pulling out some little bits of stuff from the fluff. So I think I got the worst of it already. Oh, and in the last segment of the video, I realized that I referred to the little like bits in the wool as nibs. Neps is what I meant to say. I've been thinking about that since I filmed that. It's just continued repeating in my brain. Okay. Let's see here. Not being quite as ordered about this because these last few bits I have here are a little, they're not the most, they're not really like in as lock of form as some of the other ones were, like this one kind of is. So this one will be easy to kind of pull straight down like that and keep kind of ordered, but some of them just aren't really working out that way, so I'm just not worrying about it. This is still all gonna go to my blending board after this too. So it's all gonna get combed through again and further, be basically made further into an organized bunch of fluff. This looks like I have a ton of material on here, but once it's all carded out, it really won't look nearly as boisterous and fluffy. It's just how it's going on the card. But once I pull it all out, it'll make a lot more sense. Right now, I'm sure it looks a little crazy. There's like just so much, so much fiber on here. But it's really not as much as it looks like. It's just very fluffy. Okay. Let's see what I mean once it's all brushed down and distributed onto the two cards, it doesn't look nearly as wild and crazy. And it easily just pops right off. And here on the back side you can see that a lot of the crimp is still preserved there. And then this side will come off even more easily. And isn't that pretty? Okay, and then we just have one more to go. Make sure I'm recording here. Yeah, okay, cool. Been so many times in the last couple of weeks that I thought I was recording and it turned out I wasn't, so just making sure I actually hit the button. Okay. This is going to be one of the few that's going to be mostly pink here. Most of them are mostly purple. I've got a couple other bits in there that are mostly pink, but mostly we have purple with bits of pink in it, or just purple. Because the color I used was more purple than pink. It's mostly, I think, the pieces. If you watched the video where I dyed these, there were some extra bits of wool that I added in. And I did this with all of the colors other than the seafoam and the little boy blue, because those ones actually solar dyed properly. I think just because they're such light colors, they didn't have the same issue. They didn't need as much heat or duration of time as some of the other ones did. But all these other ones, if you see in that video, I add extra wool in to the pot as I'm dyeing them to make sure that all the color gets soaked up, because I keep coming back and there's still color in the pot, and it's, you know, in some cases going on like an hour of cooking this wool. And so I was like, all right, well, just gonna have to put some more in there and hope for the best. And it worked out really well, and it gave me some really nice color variation. And this is gonna be so pretty. I'm really, really excited about this. It's taken me a really long time to card this because I haven't done a whole lot at a time. For various reasons. The biggest one being that I have a 2-year-old. And so it's kind of hard to find time to sit down and do this for more than, 20 or 30 minutes without him wanting me to, get him something to eat or read him a book or put something for him to watch on TV or whatever else. So mostly just been doing it when either my parents can watch him or when my husband is home. But at this point it's getting down to the wire, so I'm trying to just get through it and keep him busy with other things while I do it. Right now he's watching Pupstruction. I don't know if any of you with kids have ever seen that, but it's pretty cute. Okay. Ooh, I got some bits here. Let me actually pull some of this back and spread these out. They work better, I find, if I put them in between the layers. Then they can kind of get picked up with the layers. Oh, I just made a total mess of this. Okay, so I'm just going to take those back off. You can tell I'm almost done and just really wanting to finish. Yeah, this last one is looking like a wee bit of a mess, but it's still gonna come out fine. Like, that's what I've kind of learned with this, is it might look like a mess, but it's fine. I mean, the whole point of carding is that you are making all the wool go in the same direction. And we'll just add that back in later. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one's a bit of a mess, but that's okay. It's gonna be fine. This is probably one of the messiest ones I've done. But see, it's still all combing out to be perfectly fine. So it's not a problem. Pinch that back. And see these little bits right here, those are those short bits that I was trying to combine in. And if you put those right on the bottom or right on the top, they'll kind of just get caught and they won't really order into the fiber. If you put them in between, you'll see them kind of pop out, but they'll sort of order right in there. And I think that that's going to be fine when I go to blend it and spin it. I think they're just going to be a lot like neps. They're just going to be, or like, you know, when you blend in sari silk, little bits, they're just going to be little bits that catch and give the yarn some interest at the end of the day. I know some people don't like working with stuff like that, but I don't mind. And for what I'm making, I think it's just gonna, like I said, add some interest. And so I've kind of got some stuck down here. So I'm just using my seam ripper that I keep to the side to kind of pop it up so I can easily pull it off the card. All right, here we go. And this side, got a big piece in there. That one I think I'll set to the side because that's really big. I'll just stuff it in here. It'll get blended. Okay. And so yeah, there's my last handful of fluff. And so these out of the way. Give those a bit of a cleaning out later. But here is all the fluff. I'm gonna have to zoom out, I think. But I'll just pan. Here it is, all finished. Now all that's left is to blend it and spin it, and that will be a comparatively very fast process. And the lighting isn't super great over there, but I'll actually zoom back out, and I'm going to bring each bag up to the camera so you can kind of see the color variation. This is the sea foam. So you can see it alternates kind of between a like vibrant sea foamy color and like a pale teal. And then we have the desert green, which is mostly just a teal, but it's got some pops of like green in there, and then it's got some more pale teal, almost sea foamy looking sections. My ring light's kind of causing a problem there. This is the little boy blue. This essentially just looks like a cloud. It's very pretty. It's like a sky blue. It's just, this one doesn't really break, so it's kind of like more just darker and lighter blues. This one, the moonstone, this one's amazing. This one has so much color variation in it, which is not surprising because this color breaks into like 1,000 different colors. This color on its own would make a fantastic project, I think. And then we've got the Violet's Breath. mostly purple, kind of a deeper, almost blue purple indigo sort of direction with some bright pops of pink. And then the orchid, which is like pinky purple. Some darker bits in there, but mostly pinky purple. A lot of pink. And that's it. This is gonna end up being a really cool poncho. Yeah, the next time you'll see these, they are gonna get blended with these two braids, which I featured in another video, and then they're gonna become Rolags, and then I'm gonna spin them. And hopefully I'll be able to spin them on camera too. Hopefully I don't run out of time, but I will at least have videos of them being blended. Alright, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed watching this process, please like and subscribe to my channel. Drop me a comment and tell me what you liked most about it. Also, if you want to tell me that I'm carding completely wrong, feel free to do that, because I've never done this before, so I've just watched other people on YouTube do it and then tried to replicate the process myself. So, big shout out to the nice lady who sent me her hand carders that she couldn't use anymore. That was tremendously generous and a huge help. And yeah, it's been a long process, but an enjoyable one, and I will see you all in the next video. Alright, toodaloo!